Okay,
what else do we say weird?
Probably everything. Look, we got to get to this, Steve.
I kind of don't want to. I saw the title of your show and I don't like it.
Why?
It made me sad.
It makes me...
Did he die?
I'm fine with it. No, Bam's not dead.
Oh, see, during your beginning banter, I read the title and I actually was like, oh my God.
So Jeff Tremaine, Johnny Knoxville, Spike Jonze, they've all written Bam off. They gave him one last chance for this Jackass Forever movie. They said, we're going to drug test you whenever the fuck we want to. You're not going to take any pills. You're not going to do any drugs. You're not going to do any drinking. You're going to be fucking clean. And we'll pay you I can't remember what the number was, but it was somewhere between $5 and $15 million to make this movie.
More than he needs.
You have millions of reasons to stay clean for this movie. Fuck your family, apparently. That wasn't enough to get you clean. Forget your kid. That wasn't enough to make you clean.
Sucks.
Forget your wife. That wasn't enough to make you clean. How about 5, 10, 15 million buckaroos if you can just stay clean, you fucking worthless junkie? I shot fireworks out of my ass in 2003. I'm a millionaire, you lucky cunt. You couldn't stay clean long enough to take a fire hose up the ass for $10 million. You fucking idiot.
Oof.
So the only person who has had Bam's back or tried to defend him or anything, the man who has been the Mike McDermott to his worm has been Steve-O.
Mm.
Steve-O has a podcast. He invited Bam on. Bam looked like shit. He Skyped in or he Zoomed in, whatever it was.
Yep.
And he looked like shit. He looked high. He was making excuses about a very public news story about how high he'd gotten.
Forever.
And it was a whole big thing. Then fast forward 4 months after that, Steve-O has Bam on his show again. And you can clearly see Bam's fucked up. He's a mess. He looks like he hasn't showered. He's, unkempt, I believe is the word they use.
Sure.
So Steve-O announces not too long after that show that he's going to bring Bam on tour with him. And he and Bam they're gonna do a show. They're gonna do shows together, and he's gonna keep an eye on Bam because then that way Bam can get clean. And Steve-O got clean. Steve-O actually is a great heroic story.
He's a role model.
He absolutely is. I've met Steve-O. I've done stand up with Steve-O. You could not find a nicer, more genuinely nice guy than Steve-O. He's a good man. Too good of a man. So he takes Bam under his wing. And Steve-O has this problem that a lot of recovering addicts have, where they think, well, I saved myself. I can save somebody else. Don't put that weight on yourself. See, now I'm worried that taking Bam under his wing and trying to fix Bam is going to somehow cause Steve-O to relapse because he's going to feel guilty if he can't save Bam Margera.
I really hope not. I think he'd rather look at him and be like, I can't go back there. I think it would do the opposite.
Fingers crossed. So he brings Bam Margera on the road with him. I swear to God, they must have done 1 weekend worth of shows.
Yeah, one of our listeners went.
Oh, how was it?
Curtis Versus, I believe, went. I think he had a good time.
So they do 1 weekend worth of shows. And at the beginning of the weekend, Friday, Steve-O announces, I'm out of the Bam Margera business.
Can't do it.
I'm washing my hands of Bam Margera. To which I said, long time coming. I say it's too late, but better late than never. Good for you, Steve-O. You don't need this fucking monkey on your back. So he bails on Bam Margera, and he gave a very ominous warning. He said, Bam is going to end up dead. That's what Steve-O said. The guy who's been pulling for him, rooting for him this entire time, says that he has chosen to accept that his old friend might turn up dead one of these days.
How heartbreaking.
Bam threw up a pic of himself, Johnny Knoxville, and Steve-O, writing, one arm is a best friend who had my fucking back all along. Another arm is a poser, a procreation thief. If Jeff Tremaine was in this photo, he would be too greedy to fit. Fuck Jeff. Remember, I tattooed that on me long ago, Jeff. It's because I knew who you were all along. He added, Steve-O, much love and respect. Now, the problem is, that sounds like the writing of a guy who's completely fucked up out of his mind.
Yeah, you shouldn't be relying on your tattoo to shove something in someone's face.
Not only that, Steve-O likes Johnny Knoxville. They're good buddies. Steve-O likes Jeff Tremaine. By the way, Bam, all of these people get along with each other except you.
Yep.
So Steve-O is one of these guys. He's a good guy. The same good guy that's trying to save Bam Margera is the same good guy who goes, well, I'm not going to let Bam Margera shit all over two of my friends publicly. I've got to stand up for my friends. So Steve-O responded in a since-deleted comment. He accuses Bam of staying up all night and getting loaded after the last show. When he made the post and says now he's bracing for the prospect of hearing about Bam passing and there is nothing left he can do to save him. This is the post that Steve-O wrote back to Bam. Bam, last night you had your 5-year-old son with you on stage at my show, and you were blessed with the chance to spend another day or two with him. Then as soon as you left my show, you stayed up all night getting loaded enough to think it was a good idea to post more vile nonsense like this. I hope you understand how awful that is. You say you want to have a relationship with your son, but your actions guarantee the exact opposite will happen. I brought you on tour with me in hopes that I could get you to see what's possible for you if you chose recovery. I've tried everything I can, but I can't force you to get honest and do the work of recovery. I wish you could know how much I've hated feeling braced for the news of your death, but you're making it clear that I have no other choice. You're dying, brother, and it sucks that I can't do anything to save you. That's Steve-O.
Boy, I wouldn't have deleted that. That's heartfelt.
Well, I think the whole idea was he wanted him to see it, and then he didn't want to keep it up there. I respect that. But, I mean, I don't want Steve-O feeling bad. Steve-O did everything he could.
He will, though. You always feel so bad when you cared so much about somebody and they just do it anyways.
One thing you don't need to be carrying around if you're a recovering addict is guilt.
Right.
I don't want Steve-O carrying around any guilt because that guy's been clean for what, like a decade now, maybe more?
Long time.
He's been clean for a long time. And I hope that he doesn't go blaming himself now if Bam fucks up. Because Bam's a fuck up. That's what he did. It doesn't matter if it's Steve-O, Jeff Tremaine, Johnny Knoxville. Jesus Christ. Bam's going to fuck up because Bam's a fuck up.
He's done it time and time again. Anytime he gets a handout or, someone wants to help, it never pans out.
And I get that women can be cunty about children and things like that. But if she doesn't go to a judge and try to get a restraining order from him being around that kid, she's making a big mistake.
It just sounds like he's even just unsafe to be around for a kid.
So he needs to have his kid taken away from him. He needs to have all his friends abandon him. And then we'll find out what he's made of. It's got to be a sink or swim moment for Bam. He can't have people propping him up anymore. Either he's got to get better or die. One of the two. And to me, I'm sitting here looking at my newly repaired watch going, I don't really give a shit which one it is. Just make a fucking decision already.
I know, but it seems like he's had so much time to make the decision to get better, and he just doesn't.
Yeah.
So that one to me seems like it's not going to happen.
$100 from the Tigger next door. He says, if I don't win, I'm going to stop listening after tonight's show until tomorrow's show. Put Tigger next door in for 10, please.
Thank you.
Tigger next door times 10. They're saying he just looks dead. Mrs. Tigger next door with $10. Put them in for 1. Says Aaron has a dirty puss. Okay. What's his nuts with 2 entries into the VIP drawing tonight. What's his nuts for 2. Thank you very much, buddy. Now anything over 35, we start knocking out whatever the next goal is.
Thanks, guys.
All right, just remember that one.
Okay, I need to finish writing, though.
All right, you finish writing. I'll continue with the chat here. Never would have guessed Steve-O would become the sober one. He not only did he become the sober one, he's been the sober one for quite some time now. He's been the sober guy for a while. Like I said, I think he's pushing 10 years. Who wore it better, Bam or Post Malone? Post Malone every goddamn time. Ryan Dunn's death really changed Bam for the worse. Okay, great. They were all friends with Ryan Dunn. You don't think Johnny Knoxville had a relationship with Ryan Dunn? He did. I think Bam was a fuck up before Ryan Dunn died, and I think it was even an even bigger fuck up after he died. I have no sympathy for people like Bam Margera. People like Bam Margera who are multi-millionaires, have had every resource available to them, have had jail time postponed so they can go to a cush rehab, and they do nothing. They do nothing. They get loaded. They escape from their rehabs. They run away. They get out of there in the middle of the night and go get loaded. And what do people do? They just go, oh, well, he's still on probation. We'll have him just go to another rehab.
He makes excuses.
millions of dollars, a beautiful family, friends who give a shit about him, a movie career. He flushed it all down the toilet. I'm not going to let a guy like that get off with, oh, well, my friend died. A lot of people have their friends die.
Yeah, unfortunately, that happens every day. And we can't all just become shit shows.
Brian says best thing to happen to Bam is for him to get locked up for 6 months or so he can get clean. Remember the movie The Fighter?
Yeah.
And Dickie Eklund, he didn't get clean until what?
He went away.
He went to jail. They fixed his teeth up. He couldn't do drugs. Remember, he was having the withdrawals?
The withdrawals.
Yeah.
And all that, yeah.
You know, sometimes when I'm having a real fat day, I think about that scene in that movie, and I go, God, I'd kill for withdrawals. The sweats, you know, you get some weight out. What do you think withdrawal sweats smell like?
Death.
Oh, bet you those smell awful.
Probably puke because you're puking, too.
Yeah, even worse than stress sweats. Ugh.
It's gross.
April, put D-Luke in for the VIP drawing tonight.
Thanks, dear.
And, wait, we already got that one in.
Yep, I got everybody.
All right.
Thank you.
Steve-O is going to fall off the wagon after Bam dies. I really hope he doesn't. I'm glad that Steve-O decided to cut him off, though. I'm glad that Steve-O decided that, look, there's only so much I can do for this fucking guy.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be enough people around Steve-O to help him through it.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll fall off.
You'll see his name in the 2023 In Memoriam packages. I'm not convinced that you're wrong. Bam and Ryan go back to elementary school. I don't give a shit. There's a lot of people who had friends of theirs die that they were friends in elementary school, and they didn't behave like Bam Margera.
Friends, family, everybody has somebody that dies.
That's the other thing.
You don't just turn to drugs.
We're going to post this on YouTube when we come back, and you're going to there's a lot of Bam Margera apologists that are on YouTube in the comment section.
There's a lot of that for everyone. And it all boils down to making excuses as to why you can't do better.
And I got news for the Bam Margera apologists that go into YouTube videos and go, hey, why are you hating on Bam? You don't know his situation. I know he's got a fucking kid, and he's a goddamn worthless junkie piece of shit, and everybody in the world has tried to help this motherfucker, and he doesn't do shit to help himself. So you know what? Either get clean or fucking die already. Hurry up, make a decision. Breakfast is in like 12 hours.
I bet his kid would have liked to get to know him, and I bet he knows nothing about him except he's a fuck up.
He's a fuck up, right.
He knows his daddy's drunk and puking all the time, or he's unconscious.
Hey, maybe this will motivate you. I bet you I don't know if she's his ex-wife or estranged wife or whatever. This might motivate you. If you die now, she's just going to tell your kid that you were a giant fuck up his whole life.
And she'd be justified.
Yep. Loaded Wrench with a very funny comment. He says, jail made Edward Norton forget he was racist. That's true.
Dude, that is brutal.